So, first of all, let's understand the concept of IELTS. Okay, so as I always say, that this one test consists of 4 modules: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. All right. So, when it comes to the speaking test, how we are supposed to converse with the examiner, this is what we will learn today, and we'll understand the correct skills to communicate with the examiner. Okay. So always remember that a speaking test takes place either 2 or 3 days before your listening, reading, writing exam, or 2 or 3 days after your listening, reading, and writing examination. Okay, so it is in very, I would say, few cases, the students may experience it on the very same day, because if the student is applying for a computer-based examination, then definitely you may face it on the very same day. Okay, all right. So let's begin. So it is not just that you start talking to the examiner straight away. No. When you start speaking with the examiner, always remember that a speaking test starts with a pre-test conversation. Okay, so the moment you enter the examiner's room, your complete conversation is recorded on a dictaphone, so that if suppose there's any need of a reevaluation, that can be done easily. Moreover, remember that the examiner starts the conversation something like this. Okay, I'll just give you a demo. So he'll just say that the IELTS examination is taking place on the 2nd of November, 2021. The time is 9:02 p.m. The examiner ID is 143. The student ID number is N6432. The center ID is 148. May I know your name, please? So this is how they start speaking with you. Always remember, when they say, may I know your name, please, introduce yourself with your full name that is printed on your passport. I will not say, hi, my name is Minnie. That's an informal way of, meeting someone or greeting someone. You should always address yourself with your full name. So you should say, hi, my name is Minnie O'Broy, or whatever your name is. The one that is printed. Okay, after this, they'll ask you that, all right, how can I address you? So this is the place where you'll tell them that, okay, you can address me as Minnie, or you can address me as Mrs. O'Broy. So whatever they want, they'll address you like that. So after part one, till now it was the pre-test conversation. And after this, they start with part one of your speaking test. And from this point onwards, they start giving you marks. They start awarding you marks. They do not want to hear your opinion on something, whether it is right or wrong. Okay, in speaking also, there is no right or wrong opinion. What they want to see is whether you are able to communicate correctly or not. Whether you are able to generate the correct kind of content. Are you able to understand the question correctly? Are you able to use the correct form of words, tenses when you speak with the examiner? So they start analyzing you like that. So in part one, the examiner will ask you around 8 to 10 questions. Okay. So in part one, they'll ask us around 8 to 10 questions. And technically here they spend around, I would say, 3 to 4 minutes with the student. Okay. Then in part two, they give us a topic. Today we'll be focusing on this aspect, and we'll understand the skill of answering a topic and generating a 2-minute talk. So when it comes to part two, always remember that in this part, you have to give the information that is related to the topic only in the correct order in which that question is being asked. Okay, you cannot shift the order of the questions. You'll have to answer all those questions or maybe an incident in the same correct order according to the question. Here, the examiner gives us only 1 minute to prepare on the topic, and then we have to speak with them for at least 2 minutes, or till they don't stop us. All right. Now, always remember that in part three, after you are done with your 2-minute talk, the examiner will move on to part three, And here they will ask you around 3 or maximum 4 questions, but these questions are always related to the topic that was given in part 2. For instance, if suppose in, let's say in part 2, they ask you a question that, tell me something about your favorite holiday, where did you go, who all were there with you, what did you do there, okay? After that, because the part 2 question was related to travel, so of course in part 3, again, they will ask you questions which will be related to travel, tourism, the kind of behavior people should have when they travel to different places, anything, but related to travel and tourism. Okay. How are you assessed in your examination? That's a very, very important thing to understand now. So the criteria for assessment means they give us marks on the basis of these 4 parameters. The first one is coherence and fluency. Coherence basically stands for the use of linkers in your answers. By linkers, I mean words such as however, moreover, also, although, furthermore, similarly, on the contrary, on the one hand, on the other hand. So these are just a few linkers that you should try to use in your answers to relate your sentences and make a better structure of your sentence. Now, I can also say that I like to eat sweet meals after dinner, and I don't like to eat anything which is salty. Okay. So instead of saying something like this, I could have said that, oh, well, I really enjoy to eat something which is sweet after my dinner. However, I'm not fond of savory items after dinner. Now see, however, what? However is giving me the contradictory view or the contradiction to that answer. So when we use this kind of a, linker, it elevates the level of grammar that we use. Similarly, you have seen that I used the word savory instead of salty. Why? Because savory is a better vocabulary word. So when it comes to food, I would say that, yeah, I like to eat savory items with my evening tea. Okay, it could be a fritter, it could be anything, but yes, it should be a savory item. So I would not say that I like salty things. That is poor vocabulary, low vocabulary, and we should try to avoid all those things. In this class today, we'll understand 2 things: how to answer the part 2 question and how to elevate our vocabulary in the examination. So there are 3 things, and today we'll cover at least 2. First is the good and correct vocabulary. When it comes to vocabulary, the choice of words. All right. Instead of salty, use savory. Instead of child or children, use progenies, use ward. Okay. So this is what I mean by better vocabulary. Similarly, we can use, different phrasal verbs, and we call the phrasal verbs as collocations also. So in today's class, we'll understand more on collocations, why they are important, why we should use them, how we use them. Okay. And this will always improve your lexical ability. So lexical ability means better vocabulary, good choice of words, use of collocation, and the use of idioms. Idioms are also very important when it comes to your speaking test. It really enhances and elevates your level of English. Moving on, accuracy and range of grammar. Of course, that's also important when you speak with the examiner. You have to be very careful about the tenses. If the question is related to your past life, okay, or a past incident, you cannot use present tense, isn't it? If they ask me that, okay, Minnie, what was your favorite dessert when you were in school? And I say, well, yeah, I like to eat desserts, and my favorite dessert is chocolate cake. So it is not there anymore. It was a past incident. So I have to use the correct tense. So past tense was required here. After that, your ability to pronounce words. Now see, there is a world of difference between pronunciation and accent. Many students, they get confused that, ma'am, I have a good accent. No. Pronunciation means the correct, call out for that particular word. For instance, if I say, I also eat chocolates, I also eat fruits. No, it's not also, it's also. Hmm? I I have asked so many people. No, it's always asked. You always pronounce the S before the K. So we have to remember all these things and we must emphasize on this. Right now, even if I'm talking to all of you in this class, I'm not using any accent, isn't it? It's just simple Indian dialect of English and this works. So you don't worry about the accent, just worry about the correct pronunciation. The sh and the sir sounds. Like no, I don't like to see any shadow. It's not shadow, it's shadow. Okay, so these are the mistakes when it comes to pronunciation. Today we'll understand how to structure a 2-minute talk with the examiner also. So after part 1, this is the way how the examiner moves on to the part 2. Let me share a quick video with all of you. Please have a look at this video very carefully. There are some details and I'll ask you all some questions related to it.
All right, so now let's move on to part 2. And here I'm going to share a topic with you. I'll also provide you with a piece of paper and a pen. And please don't write anything on the question booklet. I'll give you a minute's time to prepare your answer. After a minute, you are supposed to speak to me on the given topic for at least 1 to 2 minutes or till the time I don't stop you. So don't mind that. So could you start preparing your answer, please?
All right. So here, when the examiner has introduced the topic, what was the first thing that the examiner said? That now let's move on to part 2. So that means you should be prepared for the topic now. How much time do they give us in the examination to prepare our answer?
Ma'am, 1 minute.
1 minute. Absolutely right. So they give us only 1 minute. And for how long do we need to speak to the examiner? Anyone?
Ma'am, 2 minutes.
Correct. Absolutely right. So we have to speak with the examiner for at least 2 minutes. Correct. Now, when we speak with them, we must make sure that with the paper and the pen that they provide us, we use it to the maximum of our ability. So obviously, you all know that 1 minute is very short and bleak. Let's have a look at the topic. So this is what the topic looks like. Now, within a minute, it is not humanly possible for me to write a complete 2-minute conversation that I'm going to have with the examiner. I can't do that. Nobody can do that. So how should we do it? So the best thing is we make bullet points. Okay, whatever we are supposed to speak, we try to write down our bullet points. And these bullet points can be related to idioms that you want to use in this topic. It can be related to collocations that you want to use here in this topic. Maybe there are a few ideas or good vocabulary words that you want to use here. Okay. So this really helps you to structure that, 2-minute talk with the examiner, because when we have these words with us, especially when we have words such as, good vocabulary words are there, collocations, idioms, and we also have linkers. You can even write down the linkers if you have this habit of forgetting the linkers. You can use all these words for your advantages, all these points. Okay. Now, I will tell you how you will construct your answer. So first of all, we always try to paraphrase the question topic. So what is the question topic? Describe a time you decided not to tell the truth to a friend. Okay, so we have to think of a time. See guys, the best thing to deal with the topic is related to yourself. Because all these topics are very relatable. None of the topics are, out of the world that, no, I can't think of something like this. Maybe they'll be related to reading a book, your favorite actor, an incident when you had to wait for someone. It could be anything. So they are very relatable topics. So try to relate them to your own life, and that will help you to construct a better answer and a lengthier answer. Also, remember that we should try to give at least 5 to 6 sentences on each bullet point. This will also help us to generate a 2-minute talk with the examiner. Okay, so we should try to have this much of length. Just a line below or more is fine, but at least this much should be there. All right, now I'll just show you an example how we can do it in the exam. Now, first it said, describe a time you decided not to tell the truth to a friend. So I think in our lives, all of us are surrounded by different situations at different points of time. And one such situation when I was actually in a pickle and had to bite my tongue and was not able to share information with my friend was during my college days. So I remember it was our examination day when me and my friend Rachna, we were just sitting in the college cafeteria. So we were about to go for our college exam, but it was a cold winter morning. So we decided why not to have a cup of tea before we hit the examination hall. So when we were just sitting there, her mother, she gave me a call on my cell phone because I'm talking somewhere around 15 to 16 years ago. So, at that time, not even 15 to 16, I think it was around 20 years ago. And at that time, cell phones were not that common for college students to have. It was a luxury. So her mother, she said that, please don't talk in front of my daughter right now. Could you just slip out of the canteen for a minute? And when I moved out of the canteen, her mother, she spilled the beans and she told me that, there's a very sad demise, sudden and a sad demise at our residence, and Rachna's grandfather has just passed away. So I was completely, stuck, and I just thought what to do at that point of time. So I asked her mother that if you want me to send her back home, what should I do? You tell me, what action do you want me to take? So she said, just hide the information from her till the time she's not done with her examination, because she's extremely close to her grandfather. And once you guys are done with the paper, because that was our last examination, therefore we planned why not to go for a movie after the exam. So she said that please don't go to the hall and come back home as soon as possible. So once we were done with the paper, it was a 3-hour examination. So the examination started at 10 and it was over by 1 in the afternoon. And everyone was happy. Everyone was, jumping with joy that, yes, we are done with the examination. Now we are free to enjoy ourselves for 1 month. But I looked really sad and morose. And Rachna asked me, why do you look so serious? What's the matter? Why you are in the dumps? I was like, there's a bad news, but I'm really sorry I had to hide it from you. And when I told her, she really started crying. She was shivering, and there was no way I could console her. Therefore, I planned to take her back to her place where her entire family was waiting for her to join her for the last rites of her grandfather. That was, a very sorry and a sad incident that I saw in my life, and I had to hide it from my friend, but it was for her own good, because if I told her this information earlier, I don't think so she would ever appear for the examination. She must have left by, with the moment I opened the news to her. So therefore I planned not to tell her that, and I think I did a good job, and I just hid the information from her for her own good. Okay. So right now, when I spoke to all of you, I spoke for roughly around 2 minutes plus a few seconds. Now, if you go slightly above 2 minutes, it is fine. It's not at all a problem. But we should try to speak up to 2 minutes. That is necessary. We have to give all the information in the correct order also. Okay, I cannot say that, okay, the entire, situation first, and then first I tell the complete story, what was the incident, and then I talk who was my friend. No, I have to go in the correct order. So first bullet point, second bullet point, third, and then we'll come to the last one. So we have to follow this structure. Okay, now in between the answer, I use so many collocations and idioms I had to break open the news. So what is break open? That's a collocation. So let's understand what are collocations, how we should use them, and why we should use them. Okay. So basically, collocations help us to build our vocabulary. In the beginning, I just kept on saying that we have to use better vocabulary, good vocabulary. So it's not just about learning good words. It's important to use the good words in an appropriate manner, and off and on. You cannot do this, that I'll use this simple word everywhere. No, you should try to think of a better word. We should try to enhance our vocabulary list, and that can be done with the help of collocations majorly. Okay, so collocations are basically combination words. They come in pairs or more. That means at least two words together. Right now, if I sneeze and I say, I think I've catch a cold. So catch a cold. This is a collocation just to say that I think I will have cold. I think I may have cold. Or I can even say, I think I may have cold by tomorrow. So this is a better way, catch a cold, to talk about your ill health. Similarly, when we look at collocations, they can be in a minimum of two pairs. They can go up to 3, 4 also. Now, all the collocation pairs, they work in the correct pair combination. Let's have a look at these two visuals. The first one is related to a car and it says fast cars. The second one is related to a person who's driving and it says quick glance. Now, fast and quick, they're quite similar in nature, isn't it? You can say that, ma'am, that person is really fast when it comes to thinking about something, or that person has a very quick perspective in life. They can think of good ideas very quickly, or they're very quick. So in some places we can use them together, but when it comes to collocation, they always work in the right pair. For instance, we always say fast cars. Fast cars means, something which is moving very fast. If suppose I saw a movie which has race cars in it, and somebody says that, ma'am, what kind of movies do you like? So I can say, oh, I love to watch movies which have fast cars, like Fast and Furious or Doom 3. I'm, extremely fond of such movies. Similarly, or, I can say instead of fast cars, I can say fast bikes also. Then quick glance. Quick glance means that you look at something and then you again look back to the main place where you were, looking earlier. So just a quick look at some other place. So if suppose I am driving on the road and I see that there's a new Netflix series which is going to come up very soon. So I can just talk to Harshdeep and say, oh, Harshdeep, do you know there's a new Netflix series which is going to come up this weekend, and I was just driving on the road and I saw a big hoarding. So I just had a quick glance and it looked really promising and nice. So a quick glance. I cannot swap the two and say quick cars and fast glance. If I do that, the collocation will go incorrect. Okay, so remember that these collocations, they always work in the correct pair. Now, why should we learn them? Why is it necessary to learn? Number one, it helps us to build our vocabulary, and it also gives us a very expressive way of delivering our answer or talking about something. Right now, if somebody is smoking, if I say, no smoke, please don't smoke here. If I say smoking is strictly forbidden or smoking is strictly prohibited. So what is it? That sounds a serious affair. It sounds a serious job, isn't it? That yes, ma'am is really serious, that I should not smoke right now in the class. Correct? So all these things, all these words, they help us to deliver an answer with more conviction. Similarly, imagine in the examination, if they say that, okay, talk about an incident or talk about your favorite holiday to a hill station. All right. And I say, I went to a hill station. It was very, very cold. And it was very dark also in the night. And it was really very, very scary to go out at night because there were no people. There were not much of roads or traffic on the road. Now, instead of this, if I say that, oh, I had a gala time when I went on a recent backpackers trip to Manali, where we went to the coldest areas. I remember that we went to Rohtang Pass and it was a great excursion for us. Moreover, it was freezing cold, or it was bitterly cold there. It was biting cold. Now, when the wind is blowing very fast, okay, we can say it was biting cold wind. So can you see the expression in the word? This is what happens with collocations. I was really scared to go out at night because it was pitch dark. So pitch dark means you can't see anything. It's absolutely dark. Now, if I say it was dark outside, and if I say it was pitch dark, that means absolutely blank outside. You couldn't see anything, okay, like a blackout. So what is blackout also? Blackout is also a collocation. When the electricity goes away, we all say blackout. That's also a collocation. Okay. So when we learn such collocations, they help us to construct a better and a reasonable answer. All right. Now let's work on some collocations. So first of all, we have to choose the correct adverb. Now, what are the adverbs that are given to us? Utterly, strongly, bitterly, ridiculously, highly, and deeply. We have to replace very, because this is a habit which most of the students have. I was very scared. I was very, very cold. No. We must try to use a better collocation and avoid this habit of very in major places. Of course, we cannot substitute very everywhere. Okay. So if I say ashamed, come on, guys, tell me which adverb do you think will go the best with ashamed?
Deeply.
Yes. Now, many people say, I'm highly ashamed in you. The correct collocation is actually deeply. When you feel it from inside, you are deeply ashamed of your child's behavior in a party. Okay. You won't say, I'm highly ashamed. You're highly proud of something. Okay. I'm highly proud of my son. I'm highly proud of my daughter. I'm highly proud of my spouse for excellence performance in their work area. Okay. So highly is, good, but deeply is better. So here we can use deeply ashamed. Then number 2, disappointing. It's going to be highly, absolutely right. Let's look at cheap.
Ridiculously.
Or we can say utterly cheap, isn't it? Utterly means the epitome of being cheap. Okay, height of being cheap. So ultimate cheap. All right. So we can use utterly cheap here. All right. Now controversial.
Strongly.
Strongly controversial. Very good. Absolutely right. So we always say that something is strongly controversial. People are in this habit of saying, oh, the affair of so-and-so actor and actress is highly controversial. It's actually strongly controversial. Whenever we talk about a controversy, it is, a very strong statement. It is a negative statement. So we always use strongly controversial. Let's look at the next one. Stupid. Highly stupid. Yes, absolutely right. We can say highly stupid. Correct. Highly. Successful. Highly successful. Why can't we use highly again? We can use highly. He's a highly successful man. He's a highly influential man. Isn't it? Many people say that. Please, don't pick a bone with him. Now, what is pick a bone? Pick a bone is an idiom. Okay, that means don't take any kind of, don't get into any kind of quarrel or don't have a fight with this person. So don't pick a bone with this person. He is a highly successful man. So highly successful. Okay, let's look at opposed.
Ma'am,
Ridiculously.
Strongly opposed, yes, why not? We would use strongly opposed, that is better. So strongly opposed, correct. Absolutely right. And what about ridiculous?
Bitterly.
Bitterly ridiculous. Or any other
Highly,
option? Yes?
highly,
highly,
Highly ridiculous, correct. We can even say utterly ridiculous. Again, like if suppose someone has done something which you don't like and you say it's ridiculous, why do you think of that? Like if suppose my friend says that I think you don't like my company because I am from the lower income group, and I say, well, it's utterly ridiculous, how come you can think like this, so utterly, again, the epitome. Okay, so let's have a look at this topic, and I want all of you to prepare your 2-minute talk on this topic. I would like to hear the answers of all the students one by one, and I want you to incorporate some collocations as well. Okay, epitome. Okay, epitome means height, a limit. So epitome is the greatest height. When I say, someone is utterly cheap, that means there's no one cheaper than that person. That is a superlative degree. Okay, that is what epitome means. Please start preparing your answers, guys. Jessim, let's start with your answer, please.
So the task was, it's related to our first, which was done last year, and it's known as Inflore. So last year it was done online mode, which was occurred in the month of January from 25 to 30. So usually it is a 2-day fest, and last time it took 5 days to complete it, since it was online, and it requires more time for monitoring and evaluation purposes. So it took 5 days to complete it. It consists of mainly 14 events, which includes management and non-management as well. So the challenges we faced was technical issues mainly. Though the participants were from different areas of the country, and we were having international participants too. Though we have to maintain a proper communication channel. So the coordination and planning was done a month ago, before the first. Not a month, 2 months ago. There was a team which consists of 24 members, which was known as forms, which is a student body in our college. So we took care of that along with the 2 faculty coordinators. So, and how you overcome it by, hello?
Yes.
Okay, so the main thing was the planning, which I had mentioned that it take around 2 months time for the whole plan to implement it.
Okay, now see, Jessim, you spoke to me for nearly 2 minutes. There's still 15 seconds left, but still, I would say it was fine. The length is fine, but there was a lot of hindrance in your voice. The first thing that you missed was paraphrasing the question topic. So always remember that we have to restructure this topic before we start with an answer. Now, when it says talk about a new challenging task, so you can say that I think we all face challenges every now and then. But recently, I had a major challenge for myself, and then come to the first bullet point. So link it. And in your answer, you were also lacking in linkers. So when you said that I did, moreover, there were many other students who poured into our college from different places. Okay. So this is how you will link your answer again. Clear? Okay. But still a good effort.
The challenging task for me was like I have attempted for the exam, the NEET exam, which was really tough for me, and I was not at all prepared for the exam. But still, I was a blank mind to the exam which I have appeared. But still, however, I have completed my exam. I was eagerly waiting for my results, but which was unexpectedly I have ranked the exam. Moreover, it was like a excitement for me to look into my look into my results, which I was just like overwhelmed with my results. Why? Because I haven't prepared, but I have appeared the exam with a blank mind, but still I have ranked. Then I gained the confidence in myself that without preparation, still if you have a positive confidence, you can like scratch anything in this world with no doubt. So this was the challenging task which I took for myself, but still it was a lesson for me, like if I would prepare for that better to score better ranking as a first. It was a very interesting challenge for me, where I have faced each and every obstacles, but I've still the rank. This is what I have took it as a serious matter for me, so that I have to prepare not only the NEET exam, but whatever may be the things. If you are attempting, you have to be thorough in the particular thing, so that you can crack each and everything with your positive efforts, whatever you are going to do in your life.
Okay, now see, here the last thing in the question says, how will that thing help you in future? Now here you can say that with that kind of visualization in life, I think one will always be very positive in approach, and you can do wonders if you have that kind of a
Yes.
positive mindset. Okay, so just this much
Yes.
time was required. Okay, but overall,
Okay.
a very, very good answer. So in such a case, now let's do one thing. I will give you a complete answer. Okay. All of you can see how we can speak on this topic, how we are supposed to use idioms and collocations. All right. All of you will understand that. So, okay. So I'll just start now. Every now and then, I think we all face different challenges in our life, and I'm also no other than the common people around. So there was one major challenging task that I recently experienced, and that was during the pandemic and the lockdowns, because all the students, they were supposed to do their classworks and homeworks online. So my daughter came to me one day and she said that, Mom, I really need your help because I don't know how to use Microsoft 365. So because you are into online teaching, I would like to learn it from you. So just tell me how to do it. So I just thought that maybe it is just equally easy as the major software that I'm using right now. So I said, yeah, it's just a cakewalk. You don't worry, I'll help you out. And there's nothing to worry about it. So the day I opened Microsoft 365, it was actually a new world, a completely different environment from what I've been using from the past so many years. Moreover, Microsoft is also connected with your internal data of your laptop, of your computer system. So there is nothing much private in that case. So when she said that I'll have to, Mom, create my own account, I'll have to, send links to my teachers. So that entire concept was really new for me. So I actually had to learn everything from scratch. And nowadays, I think the second best teacher for everyone is Google. So I also went on Google and I searched that how to, upload the files for the classworks, how to download the homework from the internet, and during the classes, how the students are supposed to follow a decorum, because these students, they're quite young in age. However, it was not, I would say, something which was over the top or extremely difficult for me. It was not a metal biscuit, but yes, of course, it was a tedious task in the beginning. However, I think within a day or two, I was able to get onto it. I had a good grip of the complete software. And I even taught my daughter how to use it, how to use all the tools, how to use the chat option, because it had so many things in it. So I think if you just to overcome any such situation, the best thing is to put your head down and get into it, and just try to learn more and more how to construct your path. Because nowadays there's nobody to help you. You have to find your own way. You have to pave your own footsteps. So you don't have any other helping hand. So the most important thing that I feel is that if you want to overcome something, first of all, you have to let go your fears. So if you have a lot of fears on your back, clinging onto your clothes, then they will always, pull you down. So have confidence and try something new. Of course, trying something new is not that easy. It's not a cakewalk at all. So similarly, as I said, that I looked into the software and I kept exploring different windows. What happens with this? What happens with the other option? After that, in fact, there was a point of time that when I learned it, most of my daughter's teachers that they at times give me a call that we are not able to do this thing on the software. How are we supposed to do it? So it is actually a very proud moment for me and my daughter as well, that the teachers are giving me a call to ask me about it now. Moreover, I think learning is something which is always fruitful in your future as well. Because if you learn something new, it never goes down the drain. It's never a waste. So you should always try new things in your life and explore new horizons. Okay? So this is the way, guys. This is how you can speak to the examiner on a given topic.